Success often blossoms in the quiet moments, not just in dramatic breakthroughs or headline-grabbing achievements. It's built by those who choose to persevere when others surrender, pushing through ordinary days, exhaustion, and unseen struggles. It thrives without fanfare, applause, or recognition. It's simply about refusing to quit. Thomas Edison's words echo with truth. Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. This single sentence reminds us that breakthroughs often emerge just when we feel like abandoning ship. It's both inspiring and a little haunting to consider how close we might be to success when we lose faith. The power of vision and persistent progress. Success is deeply tied to vision. It's about seeing potential where others see limitations, believing in possibilities amidst widespread doubt. Those fleeting thoughts and distant dreams you hold? They are the seeds of reality. The path to success isn't always loud or flashy. It's a gradual, day-by-day accumulation. Some days feel perfect, as if everything is falling into place. Other days, progress seems so minuscule you question if you're moving at all. Life will inevitably deliver blows that shake your confidence. You might feel invisible, unnoticed, or even like a failure because your efforts go unseen. But that's the nature of progress. It's not always celebrated. It's a private journey. Progress continues as long as you do, and it halts the moment you give up. As the Dalai Lama said, the only way to fail is to quit. This is undeniably true. People don't abandon their dreams due to lack of skill, but because they start doubting their own capabilities. They stare at the daunting mountain ahead, forgetting it's conquerable through small, manageable steps. The journey feels overwhelming, and they forget that every long road is traversed one step at a time. There's no need to rush. Just keep moving. I've walked that road myself. I've stumbled, poured my heart into endeavors no one acknowledged, chased dreams that crumbled, and faced countless disappointments. Each time, it felt like my world was collapsing. I felt lost, broken, and uncertain. Yet, through it all, I kept doing one thing. I kept showing up. No matter how high I soared or how hard I fell, I clung to one promise: to get back up and try again. The wisdom of keep going. This morning, pen in hand, staring at a blank page, I asked myself, what's the one thing I wish someone had told me when I was just starting out? The answer was simple: keep going. Keep moving forward, one step at a time. One day, the fog will lift, clarity will return, and you'll look back with pride. Not because it was easy, but because you never gave up when it was hard. When the world urged you to stop, you pressed on. When everyone doubted you, you believed. There is nothing stronger than a soul that refuses to yield. Life isn't merely about survival. It's about finding meaning, focusing not on what might be lost, but on what can be gained. Even when darkness surrounds you, seek the light. Even if it's just a tiny flicker, a small spark, hold on to it. Every loss toughens your skin. Every heartbreak deepens your soul. Every fear teaches you to be a little braver. And every step forward, even the smallest ones, adds up. In your weakest moments, when doubt and pain creep in, remember this: you are not broken. You are being shaped, refined. The world isn't ending. It's preparing you for something greater. So when pressure mounts, patience wears thin, and motivation wanes, resist the urge to retreat. Rise above that inner voice urging you to quit. Let your experiences, both beautiful and brutal, elevate you. They are not weights, they are wings. If you still have time, you still have time to rewrite your story. If tomorrow exists, so does hope today. Life's have-to-be's often become invisible cages, and remarkably, most are self-built. We uphold the very walls that confine us. Living by dream, not duty. As the sun rises and your coffee brews, ask yourself, am I living today out of duty, or out of a dream? Is this life merely a replay of yesterday, or a deliberate step toward an exciting future? These aren't minor questions. I've lived both ways. I once drifted aimlessly like a jellyfish, wishing for flat tires to avoid responsibilities, mistakenly believing that was freedom. But drifting isn't living. Floating with the tide isn't fulfillment. Life demands more. It demands we wake up and take control, that we stop observing from the sidelines and start steering our own journey. Too often, we perform routines not because they're right, but but because they're familiar. We live lives shaped by expectations, ours, others, societies, but rarely pause to ask, why? Sometimes simply asking why can open your eyes. Why this job? Why this routine? Why this relationship? These questions illuminate the hidden corners of your life, revealing truths we try to avoid and exposing the real reasons for our stagnation. Because the truth is, we get what we accept. So ask yourself, which mountain is truly worth climbing? Which risk is worth taking? Don't just drift through life. Take control. Don't wait for permission. Decide for yourself. Because you're not stuck. You simply haven't started moving yet. Here are a few truths to carry with you. You are bound by nothing. The walls around you? Often just illusions. You can start over, walk away, and build something new. You can revive the dream you thought was lost. Choosing not to move is still a choice. And one day, you might wish you had chosen differently. Today's struggle builds tomorrow's freedom. It's easier to complain or stay still. But you weren't born to be comfortable. You were born to grow. You were made for the deep end. The path you want is waiting for you in the chaos, the uncertainty, the risk. Go find it. What's simple isn't always easy. Becoming your best self is a simple idea, but the journey demands everything. Walking forward is simple, but climbing a mountain? That's a different challenge altogether. Same action, new context. That's where growth happens. Make mistakes on purpose. It's not the mistakes you fear, it's what they mean. But every stumble is a step forward. Want to grow? Throw yourself into the mess. Let discomfort teach you. Let failure shape you. Mistakes aren't setbacks, they're blueprints. Trust yourself, even when the world doesn't. Especially when nothing seems to work. When every effort feels wasted, keep swinging. Every swing carves your potential out of stone. It's not about luck, it's about the discipline to keep showing up. And finally, celebrate every victory, no matter how small. The space between where you started and where you stand now, that's earned. Honor it. Let it remind you who you've become and what's still possible. Then raise the bar. Begin again. Always. Because this is the process. This is the journey. It's not meant to be easy. If it were, it wouldn't be worth it. But it is simple. And if you're brave enough to keep walking, one day the world will look back and call your persistence what it really was, greatness. The unpredictability of progress. The other morning, I woke up with a clear plan, just 3 simple tasks. I wrote them on my whiteboard, as I often do, to give my day direction and purpose. These weren't earth-shattering goals, just small, meaningful steps that felt like progress. But life, as it so often does, had other plans. Hour by hour, time slipped away. Curveballs flew from every direction, some unavoidable, others a result of clumsy choices I made in the moment. Before I knew it, morning was gone. Then afternoon faded into evening. There I was, drained, staring at a whiteboard still displaying those 3 untouched goals. Silent reminders of what I hadn't done. That feeling, the frustration of unmet expectations, hits hard. When you clearly set out to achieve something and fall short, it doesn't feel small. It feels like a personal failure. Later that night, after dinner, I found myself venting on the phone. I recounted the day, the missed opportunities, the way everything unraveled. Without realizing it, I was seeking reassurance. And I received it. A voice on the other end said, "Eddie, this happens. It's not the end of the world. Nobody gets it right all the time. You're hard on yourself, and that's okay. But tomorrow is another chance." In that moment, something inside me softened. I exhaled deeply, a breath I didn't know I'd been holding. It was time to rest. Time to reset. The next morning, I stepped outside with my coffee and sat quietly just thinking. The sky was clear, the air felt fresh, and as I reflected, a familiar realization returned, one I needed to revisit. Life is like a staircase. Every step forward represents growth, born from stepping into discomfort and emerging stronger. When we choose to walk into the chaos, we grow. We stretch, evolve, and rise. Shoes that once seemed too big to fill eventually fit perfectly. The challenges that once felt impossible become part of our routine. That's the beauty of progress. It transforms the extraordinary into the ordinary. But with each new level comes a new challenge. The top of one staircase becomes the bottom of the next. And that's the part we often forget. Growth doesn't stop, it demands more. It calls us again to step into fear, into discomfort, so we can master something new. Sitting there that morning, I realized I was on the edge of that next big step. I felt it deep in my gut. I was standing at the crossroads of two powerful forces, the desire to add value to the world, and the need to keep growing personally. Where those two meet, that's where life is lived fully. That's where purpose and meaning thrive. Somehow, through the words I've shared, these thoughts, speeches, messages, I've been fortunate enough to connect with hundreds of thousands of people. That's humbling beyond words. I don't take it for granted, and it's certainly not bragging. It overwhelms me in the best way. It moves me to know that a thought I had might reach someone who needs it. My dream has always been to offer perspective, to help people see their struggles differently, to find a flicker of light where there was only darkness. And as I give that to others, I grow too. That's the journey, stepping up, evolving, becoming stronger with every challenge faced. That morning, staring down that next step, I felt a mix of excitement and fear. Because I knew this next chapter would demand more of me than ever before. Not just effort, but transformation. I had to become someone new. That meant letting go of old parts of myself. Parts that had served me well so far, but were no longer enough. Growth demands sacrifice. I'd been taking steady steps for years, and I'm grateful for every one. But this was different. This wasn't just a step. It was a leap. One that required courage I hadn't yet summoned. Which brings me back to that whiteboard. I always come full circle. That bad day wasn't really about the missed goals. Everyone drops the ball sometimes. That's just life. It wasn't about the list, but about how I responded when I fell short. Who was I in those moments of failure? What kind of person do I want to be when life doesn't go my way? Those are the real questions. Before I can lead or inspire others, I have to lead myself. That starts with honesty, with vulnerability, looking in the mirror and facing my imperfections head on. I realized I could no longer rely on outside reassurance to keep going. Not from family, not from my partner, not from friends. The next phase of this journey would require me to be my own anchor, to find strength in the quietest parts of myself. If I want to make a real impact, to build something lasting, it has to start within. That's what growth demands. It's not just about dreaming, it's about becoming. Removing the mental line that separates who you are from who you admire. Stepping into that space and filling it with belief. You'll never be more than what you allow yourself to imagine. Even those closest to you, the ones who love you most, can't give you that. It's something you have to find inside, in that deep place where resolve lives. That place where, no matter what happens, no matter how hard the road gets, you still whisper to yourself, I'm not done yet. I saw clearly that sharing my struggles just to get sympathy was the opposite of what I needed. What I need now is courage. Unshakable strength. I have to pull from the depths of who I am and bring that power to the surface until it becomes part of me. Not something I hope to find, but something I know I carry. And as I sat there taking it all in, I felt it. Change. Real undeniable change. The kind that doesn't wait for permission. The kind that says, this is the moment. A new chapter was opening before me, and this time, I was ready. It would come from how I viewed myself. It would reflect the person I believed I was. Now, the most important question I want to ask you is this. Are you standing at the edge of your next step? Are you looking across a gap you must cross, where every small choice, every ounce of courage, discipline, and strength you've built has led you here? Is it telling you that something greater lies ahead? Is it time to dig deeper and become more than you've ever been before? The inner strength to keep going. My story isn't about bottling things up or shutting others out. Asking for help when needed is one of the bravest things we can do. The people we keep close are mirrors of who we are. For me, this was about becoming someone who trusts themselves to weather life's storms. It was about stepping with conviction, from thinking about becoming, to simply being. That whiteboard, that phone call, they were just turning points. Maybe my story resonates with you. Maybe you're thinking, that's exactly what I needed to hear. Or maybe it doesn't, not yet. Maybe your journey is at a different point. Maybe you're just getting started, standing at the trailhead of something new and unfamiliar. Maybe your challenge is simply finding the courage to take that very first step, to allow yourself to be the learner. And that's more than okay. That's powerful. Because no matter where you are on the path, what matters most is this. Deep down, you already have what it takes. It's not something you need to go out and find. It's already within you. It is you. Someone once told me, the world won't believe in you until you believe in yourself. So believe in yourself like everything depends on it, because it does. Your future? It's imagination until you bring it to life. Look around at where you are right now. That's the result of what you've accepted, what you've allowed. And at any moment, you can raise your standards, reach higher, become more. You have that power. You just need to give yourself permission to use it. And yes, it will be hard. It will challenge you. But let's allow ourselves to be vulnerable anyway. Let's show the world what's possible when we act like we belong. Let's stop waiting for destiny and start writing it, one bold step at a time. Can one day really change your life? What if it could? What if today is that day? The one where you take action, where you make yourself a promise to do just one thing, no matter how small. Because when you move even slightly, something shifts. You step beyond where you were. What if we live by the belief that vision can inspire us, but without action, it's powerless? Today, take that first step. It's easy to forget how good progress feels, how empowering it is to know you're choosing growth, building something that matters. We are wired to reach, to explore, to turn the unknown into something we can call our own. We're not just surviving, we are creating. We are builders of possibility. That's why settling never quite satisfies us. That's why good enough leaves us restless. We crave the next breakthrough, the next evolution. So today, find one door you can open. Think about the ripple effect. A single act of courage can shift everything. Momentum is real. Skipping the snooze button might lead to catching the sunrise. That sunrise might spark an idea. That idea might inspire a conversation, a decision, a new connection. Suddenly, a dozen wheels are in motion. Not because you did everything, just because you did something. Today could be the day everything begins to change. You don't need a miracle. You just need to disrupt your routine. Carve out small pockets of discomfort you can learn to control. Let that nervous energy in your chest remind you, you're growing. Most choices are reversible, but making one choice puts you on a path. It gives you momentum. It reveals new landscapes. The only truly wrong move is no move at all. Some people spend their entire lives waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan. They think they need a massive shift to begin. But in truth, all they ever needed was one brave decision. One imperfect move to show them that even the wrong choices aren't fatal. They're just redirections. Lessons. Steps towards something better. So take the step. Not tomorrow. Today. Because everything starts with one decision. And it might be the one that changes everything. You can start changing your life today by simply choosing your arena and stepping into it. You don't have to be the best or the smartest. That's for another day. Today, just walk through the door. You'll be amazed at what follows. The true opponent, yourself. In a world full of complex challenges, why is the hardest battle inside? Because no external obstacle can tell you no. They can't make you stop. Only you can do that. The world builds the terrain, but you decide where to pause. You decide how far you'll go. You choose how much you'll endure. It's all in your hands. I recently read Will Smith's book, and one idea struck me: resilience. He shared stories from his childhood, including the contradictions of his father, a provider, yet a source of deep pain. In one moment, his father struck his mother so hard she fell to the floor. When she got back up, she said, "You can hit me, but you can't hurt me." That's when young Will understood. The world can act on you, but you decide how you respond. That is true power. Because everything life throws your way comes with an unspoken question. What does this mean? Only you can answer. Your answer decides whether you're held back or propelled forward, whether your fears are confirmed or your courage is strengthened. Every challenge is a chance, not a curse but an invitation. For me, running used to be the lesson. Now it's interval training, but the message is the same. It's a chance to prove I don't negotiate with weakness. That voice in my head doesn't get a vote. I've made the decision. I know discomfort is coming, and I accept it. No more overthinking. In today's workout, deadlifts, burpees, squats, core, I don't hesitate. When I see the next task, I say yes. I move before my mind can intervene. That's the breakthrough. Separating the task from the pain. When you stop talking yourself out of things, nothing can stop you. The real enemy isn't pain or the unknown. Those are normal. The true adversary is the voice that whispers, maybe slow down, maybe give up. But if you learn to separate challenge from discomfort, you become unstoppable. I'm not saying stop thinking. Thought is essential. But there's a time to silence it. A time when all that matters is the next step. One more mile. One more set. End of story. No emotion. No second guessing. Just action. Just momentum. You've already thought it through. You've stepped into the arena. Now it's time to fight. It hurts, yes, but you chose this. You accepted the hard path. You knew it had value. Now you're here, in the thick of it. Eyes forward. Roars behind you. Keep moving. Strip your world down to this. Action toward your goal. Again and again. When adversity appears, meet it with one more step forward. No strategy needed. Just discipline. One more rep. One more try. You don't need a crowd. You don't need perfect conditions. Just show up and swing the axe again. Because that focus, that grit, is what leads to victory. The power of vulnerability and growth. The road to now hasn't been smooth. You thought you had it all figured out, only to be proven wrong. Plans changed. Life happened. You questioned everything, your beliefs, your purpose. That's part of living. You felt the sting of failure, the ache of regret. It's easy to get lost in the past, letting it define your present, letting yesterday write your story. But you don't have to stay there. Today, I've come to understand something that changes everything. The way we live, love, and experience the world. If we want to truly embrace life's beauty, the connection, the growth, the wonder, we must first allow ourselves to be vulnerable in ways we've often avoided. Vulnerability means stepping into the unknown, opening our hearts even when we risk getting hurt. It means choosing the uncertain path, not because it's easy or safe, but because it's meaningful. We tend to avoid the unknown. We skip the pain. We sidestep risk. But in doing so, we miss what makes life extraordinary. Yes, it's tempting to let the pain of our past become our excuse. That heartbreak, that failure, that loss, we could build walls around ourselves. We could shut down and hide away, and no one would blame us. On the surface, that might seem wise. But here's another way to see it. That same pain, instead of closing us off, can fuel us to open up again. It can sharpen our clarity, expand our courage, and push us to truly live. After everything you've faced, after all the moments you thought would break you, you're still here. Standing, breathing, capable. And ahead lies an open canvas of possibility. You carry a worldview forged in storms. Strength born not of comfort, but of hardship. It wasn't handed to you, it was earned. Now, with that armor of wisdom and experience, you're ready for the next challenge, the next chapter. You've already proven your resilience. You've stared down adversity and kept moving. That matters. That changes everything. We forget how far we've come, how much we've grown. Strength doesn't scream, it whispers. It hides in our daily routines. Only when we look back do we realize how high we've climbed. Today's obstacles feel bigger. Not because life is harder, but because you're stronger. You've evolved. You're standing in a bigger arena. The fears that once controlled you no longer do. Vulnerability, real, open-hearted vulnerability, has been the flame that reignited your soul. So, will you step out again? Will you see openness not as weakness, but as strength? To love again is to accept the chance of pain. To chase a dream is to risk failure. To aim higher than ever is to risk humility. But all of this, that is what it means to live. You give a piece of yourself because the return is worth it. You walk into the unknown not because you're certain of the outcome, but because you believe in what might be on the other side. That racing heartbeat, those doubts, that fear, they're not signs you're broken. They're signs you're expanding, growing, investing in a future you haven't seen yet, but deeply believe in. You are not your past. You are the wisdom it gave you, the strength built within you, the courage carved out of sleepless nights and lonely battles. So no, don't shrink away. Don't step back. Step forward. Tell the universe you're ready for more, that you have the strength to dance again with the unknown, to trade discomfort now for a chance at something breathtaking ahead. Because one day, you'll look back and realize it wasn't about avoiding pain. It was about rising from it. It wasn't about staying safe. It was about becoming. That's why you must love again. Try again. Build again. Hope again. And feel again. Because all the reasons not to, those fears and doubts, are not the end. They are the beginning. Beneath every fear is a spark. A seed waiting to grow. It will never feel perfect. The timing will always feel off. But the question remains, can you be that vulnerable, that brave, not just when things are easy, but especially when they're not? When chaos swirls, when your mind is heavy, when doubt is loud, can you still choose to move forward? Can you let the pain of your past be your reason to rise, not your reason to retreat? Will you let your past define your limits, or your strength? Will you give up a piece of your comfort now to grow into the person you've always known you could be? It's in those moments, cornered, uncertain, up against the wall, that we find who we truly are. When the clock ticks, we dig deeper. In darkness, we seek light. While lost, we come home to ourselves. That's life's paradox. Our deepest pain can reveal our highest purpose. Through struggle, we evolve. From brokenness, we often find our greatest strength. I think back to 2014, wandering Boston streets after quitting my job. All I had was a dream, a microphone, and a tiny YouTube channel called Your World Within. I didn't know what I was doing, no experience with audio, video, business, or growth. I was scared, but that was the start. I didn't know the key was courage, not knowledge. That fear wasn't a wall, it was a signal. Failure would become my best teacher. Playing it safe keeps life small, but risk and reach show what's possible. You fail big. You learn fast. You grow deep. I learned that short-term pain is often the doorway to long-term fulfillment. No matter how hard it gets, the only way through is forward. The pain is real, but so is the breakthrough. So is the transformation. Fear became my compass. Discomfort my training ground. Failure my companion on the road to success. It taught me to stop running from hard things and welcome them. Because that's where change lives. That's where new doors open. Maybe your path isn't mine. Maybe it's not videos or podcasts. Maybe it's writing, painting, building, teaching, helping, healing. Whatever it is, it matters. If your heart pulls you toward it, you must listen. Yes, there will be moments when you question everything, when you want to give up. But those moments define you. The question is, will you let the emotion stop you, or push you forward? That's the decision. That's the line in the sand. That's your moment. What resonated most with you from this message, and how might you apply it to your journey today?